Hello, Renee Flamont here, and Minnie. I'm grabbing her so you can see her right from the top. Say hi. She doesn't understand that her people miss her. You guys, this topic is important, and you may think, well, I'm never going to be in danger of picking another one. I know what to look for now. There's no way. And I hope that that's true for all of us, but here's the thing. I went through a time that I did pick one over and over and over again for many, many years. I didn't have the words or the knowledge to know that there are people like this that do what they do. Let me explain what I mean. It's very common to be involved with more than one narcissist. It's very, very common because they are attracted to the type of person that you are, and you are attracted to the type of person they are, what they do, namely the love bombing. That's what happens first. Who doesn't like to be swooned and courted and given words of affirmation and validation and told you're loved and worthy? And of course, the other part of that, that's like how they say, like devil and whispering on your shoulder. The other part of that is you can't fall for it right away because they are spewing, some of them, garbage. And you might say, well, what if it's real? Then I'm going to scare him away. I mean, I don't want to act like non-receptive if the guy is sincere. If the guy is sincere in feeling the list of things that the narcissist tells us in love bombing, that guy's not going anywhere. I don't care if you made him go as slow as it takes you a year to kiss him. He'll enjoy being in your... I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. If a guy or a girl, you switch and do pronouns and people as you see fit, feels that way, they're going to treat you with respect and honor whatever timetable you have. I never understood, with all the therapy that I had, and I'm telling you, therapy is a tricky thing because I think everyone can use it, but not everyone can afford it. It is pricey. It's not covered under insurance. Maybe there's a specific case that it would be, but it's generally an elective thing, right? And not everyone has $150 a session, which is once a week. You're talking a car payment for people, a mortgage, their rent. So not everyone can go, but I'm going to save you a little bit of time and trouble and money if you don't have it. The therapist, not one time, and I haven't been now in years and years because I'm older. Like I said, I think everyone can use it, but I hardly leave the house sometimes. I know they told me everything. But nobody ever spoke of the word narcissism, not once. Not one therapist, not me. This topic was never brought up. Nobody ever said to me, hey, listen, because I'd go in there crying about this one, crying about that one. Is it me? What's wrong? No, I was told I was codependent. And they broke down some other things. Don't get me wrong. It was helpful. But not once did anyone ever say, okay, this is what it sounds like, the pattern that you're doing. Maybe I never told one therapist enough. I went choppily. I never really got to know a therapist. I couldn't tell you one of their names. Choppily at different points in my life. But maybe nobody ever knew the pattern enough to say, look, there are people in life that do the following. Sounds like you keep falling into a trap with that type of person. Let's figure out why. Let's talk about what you can do to prevent doing it again. I've never had that done. So I thought maybe this video will help some of you because you might think you're safe. There's no way. The hatred you feel for your narcissist right now is most likely pretty high. Or maybe you're at the apathetic state like where I am. I don't hate him. I don't love him. I don't regard him. Which is really a point of euphoria for the victim. I don't regard him. I don't think of him. I don't worry about him, wonder about him. I'm not looking him up, trying to stalk him. Like, whatever. I have no idea. But I am very alert and aware and careful about not ensnaring another one. And you attracting a certain type and them being attracted to your type is sometimes the perfect match for that combustion of what's to follow. Okay, so you have to keep your eyes open to what's in front of you. In my research, in all the things I do, I've told you I make flowcharts on the dry erase board. And I'm a visual learner, so it helped me because I counted no fewer than, I wrote down all the people that I had ever been in a relationship with, and I know what happened with each one, and I'm trying to write them down and look at them. I've counted no fewer than 5 to 6 narcissists to whom I have fallen victim, partner-wise, not peripheral in life. And I know why for me. It was Cinderella for me. I wanted Cinderella, and every single time that I encountered something that sounded like Cinderella, I believed it. Right away. It never occurred to me once in any of the relationships that I had written down. I never ever one time thought, he can't mean all that. That's a lot. In 2 days. Or by the salad. You know what I mean? I just thought, oh, he found me, I found him. Isn't this beautiful? Over and over and over and over and over again. And with people in my life too. I've seen friends come and go. Come and go. And I know now when I look back, friend can love bomb you, sure. You and I think so much alike. We should hang out. Like, what is their motivation when it's a friend? I see friends use friends all the time for things. They need people. Anyway, I digress. When you have an open heart and you are truly a good person who believes in the goodness residing somewhere inside everyone, right? Say that again, think that again. Like, I'm a person who, I think I'm a good person. I sleep well at night. I know how I treat people. I know my thoughts. I know where I can improve. I think I'm evolved and self-aware. Like, I think I'm a good person. I would classify myself as a good person, okay? I believe that goodness is residing somewhere in everyone. So when you are that kind of person, you tend to give chances. To give many chances. You think the good will prevail in the person, even if they hurt you or besmirch you or crush you. The narcissist sees this from a mile away and they zero in on you. You give chances. If there's anything you can't get enough of with the narcissist, it's chances. So they see that. So please, I want to keep about myself, and I want you to as well, that there is goodness in most people, in all people. But I also am aware that there is an entire sector of the population that may not have good intentions. And they're not good people, in my opinion. If they behave this way, I don't care if they're, a judge or a policeman or a teacher or a nurse or any other of the honorable professions that we have. I say judge because they're literally called Your Honor. But I don't care what profession they have or what religion they feign to be or what. If they treat people the way these people with this disorder treat people, to me, they're not good people. It erases everything that they're doing elsewhere. I digressed again. What is wrong with me today? Because I get worried about this. I do. I get worried about this topic, so I'm all over the place because I feel like even some of you that may be in therapy, if the therapist is not well versed in this disorder, now I'm sure they know of it, right? To become a therapist, you know I'm not one. I've told you that many times. You have to read about everything, yes? So I'm imagining but maybe it was like, I don't know, 1 month of semester 2 of when they went to school. Unless they're well versed in this disorder, and unless you are bringing forth what you think and you making them hear about it, they don't address it. I've never had this brought up to me. Beware of falling victim to the same person over and over again, as might have been what it sounded like to a therapist, if I had gotten to know one long enough. because I don't think I ever really did. So then you rely on family and friends, and then that's a whole other kinds of advice that you're going to get, and I made a video about that we'll be talking about. But the narcissist recognizes off the bat that you are taking in what they tell you. You'll believe them because you don't think people would blatantly lie about so many things. They sense that, so they keep going and eventually ensnaring you like the last one did. And that's what kept happening to me until I learned about this disorder. I was at risk until I learned about this disorder. And I would have continued to make the same mistakes had I not sat there a couple of years ago and started to type. And you might say, well, how'd you come upon this? And I mentioned it a couple times. My longtime viewers will know this, but I typed in codependence. That's the only thing that I was ever told, and this was over 20 years ago. You are a codependent Italian. My mother's Italian, my father is French. You're a codependent Italian. That was the only flat diagnosis I have other things, but I'm saying that was, so I typed it in. What kind of person does a codependent attract? Why does a codependent, and I started to look, and then this came up. And I started to read about it. That's how I learned. So now I know that the qualities in me that I'm already trying to improve, I don't want to be codependent, but being a codependent person means that I want you to be happy and then I'm happy. It took me 20 years to understand codependency. I didn't understand what it meant when I first started reading about it, when I was first told. 25, 30 years ago. I was like, I don't understand what it means. And I was reading about it for years and couldn't grasp it. Now I get it. It means that when I knock myself out making you happy, think about this for a narcissist. And then I'll be happy. That'll make me happy. We'll get to what I need, but I'll be happy if you're happy. Sounds nice. No. Very dangerous place to reside. And candy for the narcissist. Think about that. I'll do anything. I want you to be happy. Right? Okay. I digressed a third time. When you are someone who wants to see the good, I wasn't even thinking about the possibility that the types of people, these narcissists, existed. And I'd known some evil people. We all know bad people. But this was different because they come at you so kind and loving. How would I have known? How would you have known? When I say evil people, I mean, there are some people in the world, they sell who they are right on their sleeve. They walk around grouchy. They don't try to love bomb you. They're just bad, horrible people. We've all known people like that. Poor things. They're miserable. I bet there's goodness inside them. Maybe, hopefully, I hope. I don't know. But, many people, though, do know and can recognize BS when they hear it. Do you know what I'm saying? They recognize it. And so they wouldn't be ensnared. Those people that recognize the malarkey and don't get ensnared are generally the people who are not looking for others to validate them. And before we get all upset at ourselves and say, well, I don't need anyone to validate me, because I know that sounds bad that we are in the group that did need someone to validate us. But it is the truth. Well, I didn't need to be validated. I just liked all the things he was saying. Okay, all right. But isn't there something in us that needs to receive it in order to even believe that they would feel all those things within 2 days? Because that's not realistic. And love at first sight is a funny thing. I'm not saying it can't happen. Absolutely, I believe in it. I know people that say it was love at first sight. I know a couple, they've been married 50 years, and they both say it. I just knew it the second I looked at her. Now, you might find another couple married 50 years, it's more of an arranged thing. They lived in the same neighborhood. It was always going to happen, and it wasn't really. Some people, it's love at first sight. The thing is, I don't want to be told that within 48 hours. Tell me that after 50 years. That's fine. That's adorable. You knew right away. Okay, fine. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist, But what do they do with that information once, if they do feel that? A normal, sensitive, normal meaning non-disordered, sensible person would dole that out to you in a healthy manner so as to not scare you, especially if you're coming across as someone that says you have boundaries and want to move slowly. Narcissist steams right through that, steamrolled right through mine. I had boundaries. I thought I was all set. I knew about boundaries. I knew about my codependence. And I was ensnared by a narcissist before the narcissist that inspired this channel. Well, didn't inspire it. That finally led me to look some things up about myself, is what I should say. That's what that happened. And then I realized that the person before the narcissist sent me on a 180, crushed me. I waited about 6 months, met this narcissist, and I was ready to hear such language and validation that I'm worthy to be loved and that I was this and that and whatever, and it gets your mind off the last person that broke your heart, and now you're being swooned over here. I was primed and ready to pick another one and another one and another one, and if I didn't learn about this disorder, I would have been in a relationship with another one by now. I think it can happen so easily, and we don't think it can. It's so common. And you know, I want to say too, once you get to where I am now, where many of us land post-narcissist with the work that we do, you realize that you are your own validation. That's quite powerful, that you realize no one can fill anything in you, ever. You have to realize that. Nobody can, and I used to think that a coupledom was where it's at, and I was looking for something in the coupledom. But nothing's going to fill if you have a hole of self-love. It's up to us to do that. But once that happens and you go through the steps and you figure that out, I'm finally safe from being hooked in again. Yeah, I can confidently say that. In other words, I'm on to them. I'm on to you now. I'll move so slowly with such boundaries, which I've already been doing this. It's already been tested and proved very, very valuable. I'll go so slowly and with such boundaries that a narcissist would never have the patience to endure it or the strength to go through that. They're not in for the long con. They want quick results. They'll try a little bit. I might be a challenge, but I'll scare a narcissist away as being way too much work if I don't see them first and stop communicating. But I've seen it a couple times. The second I see any personality that resembles anything toxic, I say it out loud to them. I've been on dates. That's what I say. I go, ooh, yeah, you got to see what happens. You got to see what happens. Now, yesteryear, I might have said, oh my God, he did this and he said that. Now I'm like, you've known me a minute. 1 minute. You've known me 1 minute. You're the girl for me. And then upset because I don't know the same thing on date 1. I'm not calling you my boyfriend for life after date 1. And you're upset. There's so much wrong within that I can't even list it. So I really don't think I'm in danger, but I worry about others who might still be, because I did it again and again. It's very normal. You're attracted to that. Who wouldn't be? Some people, like I said, so that's what I started to say. Some people who know the malarkey, well, they're better at self-preservation than those that do not, because they have barriers in place for themselves that protect them. Stronger people. I don't want to say stronger people, because I don't think that it was that we were weak. We had a deficit in a certain category that allowed us to be vulnerable to accept what they come at us. And you know, that's one of the first things I'd like to mention. I mean, one of the first things you should think about when you get that love bombing. That's when it's going to happen. It's your first interaction with them. So to bar off falling into another narcissist, beware of the love bombing. Someone comes on strong, I don't care how it feels, how great it feels. I don't care how you feel like this is a dream and you just want to go with it. And maybe this is my soulmate and you don't understand. It wasn't just love language. He commented on my freckle, on my... They do that. That's what they do. And I'm not saying it can't be real either. But again, guess what? If the guy is true and he just really fell in love with you at first sight and he can't shut up about it, he won't mind one lousy little bit that you don't go at the same fast pace he is. A narcissist will definitely care. If you think you're going to go slowly with a narcissist and they're trying to love bomb you, steamroll, bulldoze right over everything. It's very obvious what they do. I told you the time my narcissist shows up on my porch. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I had a girlfriend staying with me. We're both out on the porch. I was taking a break from painting, covered head to toe in paint clothes, was intending to go back to finish painting. That's what I was doing that day. Now all of a sudden I'm showering and going to dinner because he showed up at my door. Rather than saying, no, tonight's no good for me. I didn't know he was coming over. And he had the nerve to say to my friend, what, am I dating a guy? Because I had like a bandana do-rap on my head. And try getting paint in this hair. Oh, you got to pick it out one by one. It's in there forever. So I was all like covered. I'm sorry. Did we have plans? Nowadays, I'd be like, no, I don't even tell people where I live. If I meet somebody for a date, they don't know where I live. So I'm not making that mistake again either. Giving someone your address? But I was going to say, the narcissist will be gone if you take too much time to swoon, react in any way, but swoon is what they're after. And furthermore, respond in kind. They do feel rejection. So if they're love bombing you and you're taking it slow and, it'll weed out the narcissists. They want to know they're getting you. They want to know, with your words back to them, that they have indeed struck gold here and this will be worth their time. If not, they want to move on and find somebody that they can ensnare. Remember the love bombing trick doesn't work on everybody. Those people that recognize the malarkey that I referred to earlier, they catch on and tell them to go pound sand. Yeah. We need to be these people who recognize that malarkey as soon as it's doled out. So now you might say, again, well, how do you know then the malarkey and not your fairy tale? How do you know the difference if it were your fairy tale? You might insult your prince. Let's use the language, let's stay with that metaphor. You're never going to insult somebody by telling the right person who's not trying to break your boundary. You're never going to insult someone if you have a boundary and you're asking them to respect it. A good person is going to do that because we make the boundaries for the bad people. Good person doesn't even need it. They're going to recognize the pace that you're going, right? I don't want you to fall in with another narcissist. I know I'm all over the place. I know I am. I know I feel that I am. But you can't know in that little beginning, which is why moving slowly and seeing if everything he's telling you or she's telling you holds true is really the way to go. Really, it is the way to go. And and I'm not saying test people on purpose, but if somebody pushes you, which a narcissist eventually pushes a boundary, that's how they get in, and you challenge them, I want you to watch what happens. I don't mean fight. I'm not trying to incite violence here. But say, no, that's not. But we always find ourselves saying yes because they're so charming and they're wooing us. It took a lot to learn, but I want you to beware because I don't want it to happen to you. I thank you for watching. I know I went all around the world to get that point out, and I still have more to say, and I feel like I didn't even finish. Please go ahead and hit sub, like, and share. Beware of the next narcissist. Don't let yourself be victim again. Please. And have a nice day. I'll see you next time. Chin up. You're fabulous. Remember, you're fabulous.